The following show features episodic breakdowns of Jackass, either performed by professionals or under the supervision of professionals. For your safety, avoid listening to this podcast at all times. Hi, I'm Mikey Aaronworth.
I'm Jason Wellwood.
And I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Welcome to Jackass.
Welcome to Jackass. It's the podcast where we're on a path of destruction through every single episode of Jackass.
We are three lifelong fans of the show, reliving the belly laughs, bad ideas, and broken bones.
Part 3 of the coolest show on earth.
Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Not anymore.
Something happened in my background and I really panicked there.
That was you panicking? Because that, Chris, I'll tell you, sounds like every single intro you do.
That was one of the best ones yet, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And by in meaning of one of the worst ones yet.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If that's how
I'm
you're
on the same
judging
page
yourself,
with you
I
today
like
for
it.
once. Yeah. No, I actually agree this time. The other times are bullshit because I do the best intros ever. But today was a little off. I'm not gonna lie. It's hot in my fucking condo.
It's hot in your condo. Yeah, you were saying they haven't turned the air conditioning on. Which is the thing I'm just learning about is that if it's you own the place. And a lot of my friends have the same thing where you can't turn the air conditioning on until like sometime in end of May, beginning of June or something, which is fucking crazy.
It's absolutely ridiculous. It's over 30 degrees in my condo right now. So,
Jay, how are things over in sunny old Calgary, Alberta, Canada for you?
woo!
That's all I got to say about that.
Hey guys, I gotta say this about today's episode. I am fucking pumped. I gotta be honest.
Yeah.
The more time I spend with Jackass Forever, the more I love it. I absolutely love it. And I know we had our conversations about where it ranks among the other Jackass movies, but I went back and rewatched because we had a little bit of a break before recording the first part of this episode and the last couple. The first part of this series of Jackass Forever. So I kind of I'd forgotten a little bit. I wanted to refresh my memory. I could watch these stunts all day, like all day. This movie the more I watch it, the better it gets.
There's definitely certain parts which we'll get into later on in this episode, like when Preston poops himself, where because it's the second time around and I know it actually happened, you see a different expression in him. I thought he was just putting on, and you really get to appreciate we'll talk about it a bit later, but it really does help rewatching these things because there is a lot of stuff in action-packed and you do miss quite a few things. So
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. And I'm with you guys. Like, the more I watch it, the more I love it. And it's kind of like rewatching it. It felt like just watching it again for the first time for some reason. I don't know. This one seems like so fresh. I think it's exciting seeing the new talent mixed with the old guys, that there's just some special spark here that just makes you excited.
Yep.
You know, like when I go back and watch, actually there's a clip in this episode we'll get to where they're talking about a stunt they were trying to do in Jackass 2 that took them like 17 years to get right. And they're doing it in this episode. But when they reference that and they show the old footage, I was like, man, like it felt like I was watching a different show because I was so used to this new format that like it's just there's something special here, which makes me even more excited that they're doing a TV show now because I just have a feeling it's going to be fucking great. Yeah,
it's a wealth of content. The world needs something like this, and you could have 4 series. Like you know what we should do? Get 50 Cent on it. Have him have like 7 different versions of Jackass going at any different time because he does that with Power and with Book of Power and Force and all that shit.
5 different books right now. Also, do you remember when 50 Cent was in something to do with Jackass when he pushed SteveO down a stairwell in like a lobby, like where they carry the luggage, and SteveO, that was one of the first times SteveO got really fucking hurt.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
I don't even remember that.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville, and I'm about to get shot 9 times, then have a full-fledged rap career, make a bunch of money off of Coca-Cola stock.
Hey, he's the best, man. One of the best to ever do it. But speaking of nostalgia and old things, we are actually the first stunt of the day.
I thought you had a fun fact for us.
It kind of is a fun fact because it's fun that they're doing Cup Test 2. Yes. We saw Cup Test 1, which is one of our favorite stunts ever, and now we get a second version. And you know what? The one thing about the Jackass boys, they don't just, they don't stick with the same level it was before. They definitely one up themselves, and this is definitely the gnarliest thing in the whole entire movie, in my opinion.
It's crazy, man. The creativity, the music, Cup Test 2.0. I mean, you got to agree with this. This is Danger Aaron's coming of age moment. Not that he didn't have moments in past Jackass stunts, but holy hell, this is like some of the best Danger Aaron moments that you'll ever get to see.
100%.
Yep. Oh man, I just love that reveal here. Let's dive into 2.0 because it's God damn. Okay. Knoxville's breaking it down for us here. And he says specifically that they told Aaron the guy who's going to come and box him right in the nuts was a lightweight. So this is important because there's a little bit of a build up here. When I saw this in the theater for the first time, I was wondering, okay, so this is how they're going to one up themselves. The cup test was little kids kicking Knoxville in the nuts. Now we're getting like a heavyweight fighter to do it. But they really deliver with this. But before I get too ahead of myself, the reaction on Danger Aaron when he comes around the corner and sees this heavyweight fighter, they actually did tell him it was going to be a lightweight because the first thing he says is, that's not a fucking lightweight.
Yeah.
And to his credit, though, he's laughing. Like he's having a good time with it, even though he's about to get destroyed. So it just sets the tone for this whole thing, and I loved it.
He's probably laughing because as much as he knew it was a heavyweight, I don't think he quite fully understood exactly who the heavyweight was. If he knew that was Ngannou, it's a completely different story. Like that guy is known for having the hardest punch in the world.
So not only is he the hardest punch in the world, but like he's legit like one of the current best heavyweights in UFC. And I guess as the time of this recording, it would have been the same. I don't know when they would have recorded this, but like it's known that this is one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet at the time that he's doing this. So they didn't just get some like remember, you get Nigel the Hammer. He's like, he was never a big UFC guy, never a big MMA guy. That was back with the other Jackass season 3. Now they've got the clout to do it. And not only do they get a big name, they get the name with the guy with the biggest punch. It's kind of fucked up. Jay, I know when we first watched this way back when we saw it in theaters, you weren't too familiar with who Francis Ngannou was. Have you had a chance to look him up and kind of like watch some of his fights to see what he's all about?
Nah, not really. I don't watch a lot of UFC, but you can definitely fill me in. I'm interested in the sport. I think it's a cool sport, and I have nothing against it. He's a big motherfucker. That's all I know.
He's massive. He's massive. Do you guys think? Because I've seen some stuff online that theorizes that he pulled this punch a little bit. So he gets up and Danger Aaron's standing up on a ledge, and he gives him an uppercut straight to the nuts. Obviously, where else are you going to punch someone? Do you guys think he pulled that at all, or do you think it was his hardest punch?
I don't think a human being could consciously punch someone in the dick as hard as they can.
That's a good point.
Here's a concept.
He did punch pretty hard, though.
Sorry, Jay.
Yeah,
he definitely punched him hard, but did he go 100%? I can't see that.
Yeah,
so,
I
do have a quick question for you.
Yeah,
this might sound like a stupid concept, but to me,
from you, I don't believe it.
To me, I'd almost rather go no cup.
Why?
Because think about all like the pelvic bones and all the actual damage that can be done all in that area. So when you're hitting that hard plastic on bone, you could shatter your entire pelvic region.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you kind of know what I'm saying?
Also, if the punch is hard enough to shatter your pelvic region, think about what it would do to your unprotected nut.
Yeah, allow you to fuck without having to pull out anymore. It's a no-brainer. Sign me up.
I think it would send your dick inside out. You would have a vagina. That's what would happen.
And you could call me Christina, baby. I just don't want a broken pelvic bone.
A vagina
fair.
And a couple of squished grapes. Yeah, that's what you'd be left with. Oh my god, dude! Whether he pulled the punch or not is one thing, sure, but I think the expression on Aaron's face afterwards says it all. He's trembling. He's out of breath. I know what it's like to get hit in the nuts. Not that hard, but we've all, us guys, I think at some point have had some sort of trauma down there. And when you get hit, man, that feeling that sinks in and crawls up your abdomen and into your gut is one of the worst things. So like,
the lower stomach pain.
The fact that this is not the only hit to the nuts that he takes, which is the big surprise I alluded to earlier, they really do step it up. Like when they, revealed there's another part, I just immediately started thinking, okay, how many times are they going to do this? Because if they're doing 2, there's definitely going to be more than just 2. They're not stopping there. I know Jackass. So I was just in shock to see that this cut away to another scenario immediately after the punch. Couldn't believe it.
What amazes me about this is I think the showiest version of what they do in this is definitely the first part. It's Francis Ngannou, the heavyweight UFC fighter, uppercutting the guy, uppercutting Danger Aaron in his nuts. But everything after that, the way it's filmed is like a fucking music video, and it's so satisfying to watch. The way that they film the softball shot with the girl doing the underhand, the windmill pitch straight to his nuts, and how like she's clearly gonna nail him on the first throw, and he kind of leans away from it and catches it in the thigh. But they have it like they have it on an angle, and when she finally makes contact, perfect contact, straight with his nuts, the way she turns around and does like a fucking fuck yeah or whatever she says, like that's the coolest shot I've ever seen. I've never been so happy to see someone get hit in the nuts. Usually it's funny, but that was art, and I know I say that a lot in Jackass, but that was art.
Yeah, the fist pump and everything. It was kind of like she was saying, "Hey, Daddy, are you proud of me now, Daddy? I did it." Look. No, but props to her. She's a badass chick. She's actually kind of scary.
Yes.
Just the way, like, it's like she just won an award or something after that pitch. It was like...
It's pretty intense.
I'll just walk off now and, be very, very proud of myself.
Like, the old, like, windmill slap to the ass. Imagine getting a windmill slap to the ass from her. That would fucking hurt, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got quite the
imagine it.
Like, whew.
But I
may do some imagining of that later on tonight, actually, now that you bring it up.
Boys, it is playoff season, and how fitting that we have PK Subban here to bring us down to the hockey rink next. I said it was going to keep going, and it keeps going. I love PK's just energy here. He's smiling right on the first shot when they introduce him. He's like so ready to go, and he's a shit talker on the ice too. I love that. Like he's ready to just fuck this guy up and no remorse, and he's got a hard slap shot, this guy. So with Aaron in the net there ready to go, he's in for a world of hurt. Like if you've ever been hit with a frozen puck, a frozen disc of rubber, like just forget about it. With that little protection, dude.
This is the one that I honestly, before the pogo stick, this is the one that I would have been the most afraid of.
Oh, yeah.
I think that this is the one that can hurt you the most. It's also the one that I thought would have been most impossible to pull off. Like a slap shot as hard as you can to that small of a target is really, really tough to do. So much so that when he finally did it, when PK Subban finally took the slap shot, hit it. And by the way, if you're not a hockey fan, PK Subban is a legit NHL. He's not as big now, but he was like one of the best offensive defensemen the league had to offer. Crazy hard slap shot. So he's definitely a familiar face for those of you who aren't familiar with hockey. But when he gets the second one, I was like, he definitely didn't hit that right. He definitely didn't. But then it shows him going into frame as though like when he's following through with the slap shot, and I'm like, holy fuck, he actually nailed that. It was so impressive.
Until I rewatched it the second time, I totally thought they just faked it because they didn't
100%.
actually show him doing the shot, but then they did show that back version. I was like, holy shit, that's and didn't he rang one off his forehead first?
That's the okay.
Oh my god.
They call that in hockey wasting one high, and the fact that PK Subban did that, there's not a chance he didn't mean to do that. He absolutely meant to, and he wastes one high on Aaron McGahey.
Yeah.
The theory being, if you're playing hockey, you waste one high on the goalie and it kind of gets them rattled and makes them flinch a little bit. So the next one, you'll have a better shot scoring on them. In this one, I don't know how that benefits Danger Aaron or benefits PK here, but it was good for the audience. It benefited us for sure.
Yeah, dude, putting that training to good use. And holy shit, if this wasn't enough, it goes one more time with another cutaway to our next. And unfortunately, maybe not unfortunately, I think Aaron needs a fucking break by this point, but it is the last one. And the last one, it is the best for last because this is like betrayal in every sense of the word. You're going to get your best friend, Dave England, to hop on a pogo stick around your junk as you lay spread eagle on the concrete and just wait and see what happens. I mean, like, out of everything, Mikey, you said the hockey was probably the one you'd want to take the least. I think this one would hurt more than just your balls. It would hurt your heart a little bit too. Let's talk about the way he lands on Aaron's nuts, because there is a little bit of a buildup, a couple bounces. He's kind of inching in and out, getting a little closer every time. And then when that impact happens, you guys, you saw it, right? Like Chris, Mikey, what happens to this man's sack? Somebody explain it, please.
Chris, you do the honors because honestly, my throat is hurting thinking about it. Like this one is almost too much. Like it's almost too much.
And it's funny because going into it, you would think this was probably the easiest one.
Yeah.
It's just one of those moments that shows like they really don't scientifically plan anything. You know, any of these stunts could go horribly wrong in ways that you would never expect. Like this is, okay, a pogo stick. I'd rather take a punch. I'd rather do that than a punch by a Ngannou or a slap shot or, you know, the windmill pitch. But this ends up being the worst because what they didn't factor in is the fact that the pogo might slip and go and basically he got left with a bloody nutsack.
Yeah,
it was bad. It was
almost
really bad.
Tore
it's
him
hard
open.
to watch.
You know, like
honestly, like it's so hard to watch that. Watching it this time through, I almost didn't watch it, and in fact, instead, I said to myself, I'm like, Mikey, you seen it. You did it once. You don't need to do it again. You did it. Gold star. You figured it out the first time. So the second time I allowed myself instead to clock the reactions of everyone else in the crowd as they started to realize what had happened. Because it happened. It's not like they all get what's going on at the same time. Some of them are still laughing.
Except for Dave England, who knew instantaneously.
Right away.
And that's when you know it's bad.
Yeah. He looks to the camera with that look that he always has, like he's always about to cry. Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah.
But you just see in the audience, it's like, person to person, I think they see the blood and they just start to realize what's actually happening. They're like, oh fuck, our friend just lost his nuts for sure.
Yeah. And that's why that was the last one, because you can't really top that. And when I said there was heartache, that goes both ways, boys. It goes both ways. Hopefully they're still friends. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they patched up their friendship and that nutsack. What would you rate this one, Mikey?
You know what? I fucking loved it. I love that we paid homage to the first cup test. I love that there was a mix of pain, celebrity, art, camera work, everything. You don't get much better than a stunt like this. It has everything, including way too much pain. I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10.
Right on. Chris, what do you got?
You know what? I'm going with the full-blown 10 out of 10.
Nice.
This is, like Mikey said, it has everything in every different way. It was significantly better than the first one, and that was one of my favorites of all time. So it has to go up from there. You know, if I'm not going to give it 10 to this, you know.
You know what, Chris? You're absolutely right. I don't know what I'm talking. I don't know why I'm pulling my punches there. I don't want to be a Francis Ngannou in this situation. I'm giving this one a 10 as well.
There we go. That's what I like to hear. Bam, shakalaka.
Bam,
boom,
shakalaka.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Jay, what about you?
Mixed martial arts reference. Apparently I don't understand, but 9.5 out of 10 seems good. Listen, guys, you know me. I don't give 10s to anything except unless there's baby powder and an anus involved. That's about.
So far, this movie has Silence of the Lambs, which is a 10, 10, and a 9.5 that we gave it, and Cup Test 2.0 is also a 10, 10, and a 9.5. Some two heavy hitters for stunts. Eh?
I'm not gonna lie, this was like fucking stacked. This stunt, this segment, I couldn't believe it. Like how far Aaron was willing to go, and he probably complained off camera a lot, but you don't really see it in the movie. So at least they,
Well, he does. He has one moment where they kind of make fun of him, and then he's like just before the pogo stick, he's like, "You guys keep laughing at me. I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna walk away, I'm not gonna do it." And then everyone's like, and then Johnny's like, he's going to take his balls and go home. And everyone's like, that fucking loser. I was like, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he should have learned by now that there's no use. It's futile. Don't complain in front of these guys because they're just going to find a way to make fun of you. And all things considered, I think he kept his mouth shut pretty good for how much abuse he took. So I'll give him that.
Goddamn.
And guys, this next one is a dream come true. It really is a dream come true for all you Mythbuster heads out there in the audience. Fuck me.
Not yet,
I'm so excited about it that I forgot about
the interstitial.
Yeah, the exploding toilet. I'm sorry. We'll talk about this quick, but your fucking brain's gonna explode when you see who we got next. Huh? Yeah.
It was the coming together. It was so much serendipity in the next one, but this one, Porta-potty explosion, is just SteveO going into the Porta-potty. And the Porta-potty erupting in an explosion. I think we even had a moment where Jeff is talking to the camera and he's like, at this point, if anyone uses a Porta-potty, they're an idiot. Because like everyone's getting pranked in the Porta-potties. And it always seems to be SteveO.
Yeah,
but here's my question, guys. SteveO goes in there. He's in there for a while. And it explodes and he like rolls out. But when he immediately rolls out of the porta-potty, he's fully clothed. What happened? What was he doing in there?
What's weird about that?
Where's he pooping? Where's he peeing?
That's how I poop every time.
Just fully clothed.
You saw how quickly he was able to jump through the roof of a porta-potty and come out like nothing happened. You think he can't poop that magically too?
True, in the Shaq video. Yeah, SteveO can work wonders in there. Yeah, no, it's good. It's
always good to watch someone get exploded in a porta-potty.
Yeah, pooping with your pants fully, belt and everything fastened is kind of like removing your underwear without taking your pants off. There's a secret to it. There's a trick to it.
Mr. Bean can do both of those things.
Exactly.
Speaking of that, I just had this weird feeling that Mikey, for example, he always looks all nice and presentable. I have a feeling like he just puts on a nice top and it just like has nothing underneath, like no pants on. Mikey, stand up, please.
That's not true. Okay,
yeah,
Chris,
stand up.
Stand up right now.
Why isn't he standing up?
Okay, hang on.
He's not standing up. I'm excited now.
Before I stand up,
hey, you know who makes a protest?
Something.
The guy who's not wearing pants. That's who.
Guys, I don't like doing nighttime recordings. We had to do it as a matter of scheduling. So I got my workout in. I showered. And I'm always decently dressed up.
Sure.
This is the first time I've recorded an episode with pajama bottoms on.
Okay. So you do look nice.
That's
well,
fine.
See, I'm going pure undies, man.
Oh, Chris is in
Holy
his
shit.
undies. Okay.
For some reason, like
that's
that's more surprising to me, and I don't know why.
Fuck. Literally, you know what's crazy is before we started recording, I was like, I should put my pants on, like my shorts
You
or
probably
whatever.
wear dress pants normally. Or you're just putting on a huge facade. I don't know.
I'm the opposite. You know how like most people will wear like a nice shirt on top and just boxers on the bottom? I wear a nice shirt on top and like fucking tuxedo pants on the bottom. I go nicer below the camera.
Once you started backtracking and panicking, I got really excited. I could not believe that actually panned out.
If you're just listening to this, we do post these episodes up onto YouTube as well. You can find our channel there. Just search Jackast. All of our episodes are up there. We typically have stunts showing alongside the episodes, but because of all the DRM and the protection around Jackass Forever, we're not able to do it for those. But for all the other episodes, Viva La Bam, Wild Boys, all that stuff we do. So go check us out there too.
Yeah, baby. And this next one, holy shit! If you want to talk about the lower half, this whole sketch is all about the lower half, baby. This is SteveO and the flaming fart. They're gonna light a fart.
The lower half also describes our demographic, I think. Our audience.
Yeah. Listen, guys, when you get SteveO in the tub, who hasn't made a few bubbles in the tub? Let's just be honest.
No, of course.
From time to time.
That's why I go in the bath.
Yeah. Easier to get away with in a hot tub, arguably, but not here. Not when you're in a glass box where everyone can see your lower half. And the point here is that we want to get SteveO underwater to cook up something nice and special, some gas. We're going to try to light that fart on fire underwater. Now, why are we doing it underwater? Well, science says that it's easier to capture the methane gas coming out of his butthole and use that to basically have a methane gas collection that we could then light on fire with, I don't know, something, say like a blowtorch. But boys, before we even get ahead of ourselves here, this cannot be done by a mere mortal. You need a scientist. Otherwise, just forget about it. This is too dangerous. Well, I mean, there's only I only know about 5 scientists, and their names are you ready for this?
Bill Nye.
Okay, well, 6. Bill Nye.
Okay.
It's Jamie Heineman.
Yes.
It's Adam Savage. It's Grant Imahara. Am I doing all right?
Yeah.
It's
Rest in peace.
Carrie. Sorry, Carrie, I don't know your last name, but
and
you got red hair
the
and
one
you're
and
cute.
only.
And
yeah,
Mikey agrees. Chris agrees. I think we all agree. But the real babe in the room is Tori Belleci.
Hell yeah.
And he's here, straight from the Mythbusters. I like
someone who we've mentioned on this podcast so many times.
This is the thing. I don't know why. Like, I was just fucking kidding. I wasn't even serious. Like, I put in the Mythbuster drops into the episode, and then we go to the fucking theater, and this guy's in the movie? Like, why? What are the odds? You could have got any scientist. Like, just go to a university. They're fucking everywhere. You got Tori Belleci.
Maybe they were doing market research on the show and they stumbled across our podcast. You never know.
You never know
big these days. So. We got sponsored before, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, there you go.
At the end of the day, boys, though, it's exciting because this is 2 worlds colliding. And if you pay attention to the way Tori speaks, it's like he's never... the show scarred him for life. He had some sort of trauma on set where now he's unable to talk like a normal human being, and everything he says is ready to be cut up and put onto a voiceover reel in editing in the show, because the whole time he's like just he's like performing it. He's throwing off like these science-y quotes left and right, and the dude just sounds like a robot almost. And I thought that was the strangest thing. It was actually distracting to me as I was watching him try to blowtorch SteveO's asshole. But let's talk about the sketch.
You sound like a robot, and you're just talking to me and Chris. Imagine you were talking to the Jackass crew. You'd be pretty intimidated. I don't think I could do it.
I guess.
Especially when you're in charge of like
01,
you're in charge of lighting
011.
a fart on fire.
Yeah.
That's dangerous. I don't want to imagine you're the guy who lights SteveO's insides on fire. I'd be nervous as hell.
Dude, I wouldn't want to fuck that up. Like, that is a shitty position to be in no matter who you are. Like, you could roast this guy, and I'm sure they'd be cool with it if it happened accidentally because it's the Jackass guys, but they put it in the right hands. So the point here is that he's in the tub. He's going to start farting. They've got like this fucking suction tube on his asshole, and they're catching all that methane gas. But even with that, he can't seem to, like, they're trying to open it up and release the gas and get a light on it, but it's just not working. So that's when they bring out the big guns. They get the big blowtorch out. He's sticking this thing by his ass. Everybody's just waiting in suspense for it to go off, wondering when it will. And it's like one of those moments where you couldn't have predicted it, right? It's like you're talking to a friend about something, and all of a sudden it's over before it even began, and everybody in the room is just wide-eyed, and then SteveO looks at the camera and starts laughing, and he says, "I'm not a scientist, but that was pretty fucking loud." And it is like the bang that goes off. I thought for sure he would have gotten injured by that, but he comes out unscathed. So they fucking mission accomplished there.
The best part about it is that the whole time it looks like it's not going to work, and they almost give up on it. And he, like you said, he turns up the gas, and it's when they least expect it. That's when the fart goes off. I kind of think that it wasn't the fart that was getting lit on fire. I think it was just the fact that he kept turning the gas on. It's just like whatever leftover propane is funneling up in there. That's probably what ended up like. That's why it was such a huge explosion.
Yeah, it was way bigger than
all the gas was the methane gas.
No, but
that was like a blowtorch.
But the gas from the blowtorch had, like, there has to be a fuel there too.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what happened there, but like that fucking bang, it seemed way too big for just
it was just a couple farts, right?
Yeah, something weird going on there.
He fucking guiled it from Street Fighter.
He guiled Sonic Boom. Chris, you mentioned in the last episode that SteveO enters set with the bandana over his head because he's already pretty self-conscious about the eyebrows. There's a couple of those moments that we get in even this episode that we'll go over here. My biggest issue with this stunt, I was watching it on my new TV, stunning 4K resolution, HDR, high quality, streaming this to the top of its potential. Guess what you don't want to see in 4K? The inside of an asshole. I could see SteveO's hemorrhoids the whole time. It was disgusting. I didn't enjoy this one at all. It gets way too close. Also, the number of nut sacks. Like, nut sacks, the lower the definition, the better. Those things are never looking good, and you see a lot of them in this movie.
With low definition, a nutsack, it just looks like a friendly little beanbag, But once you get that high definition, you see the wrinkles, you see those odd stray hairs. It's odd hairs. Gross.
Yeah, they have no business being on our bodies. I don't know what those things are, but never mind the high definition. The slow motion replay of SteveO's balls getting rocked is I will. If there's a way to tattoo that on my body as like a GIF, as like a moving image, I want that. Just the
like a holographic
wrinkling
hockey card,
exactly,
Tilt me for,
depending on the angle you're looking at it, it kind of moves with you. Yeah.
Dude, speaking of which, Chris, if nut-sacks are friendly little bean bags, my question is, what kind of beans you got in your nutsack? Fava?
Hey.
Kidney?
I got a few. I think
Pinto?
Feels like there's a few more than 4. I think I got to get it checked out. I mean, a few more than 2.
A few more than 4? What the fuck?
That's it.
More keep coming.
Fucking normal. Dude. No, it's just extra value for your money. That's good. It's like
exactly
more than you bargained for. Nothing wrong with that. Let's speaking of more than you bargained for, would you guys give this sketch? I fucking hope not, man.
No,
now you're scaring me. Go get it checked out.
They said it was just assist. They said it was just assist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So
I'm your brother, and I didn't even know this.
Yeah, maybe
why would I share that with people? Never mind the whole world. Oh, fuck.
Well, you already did that. Yeah. Can't take that one back.
I'm just kidding.
What would you guys do on a rating for this one? I have a feeling it's not going to be too high, though. That's just my guess.
Yeah, honestly, I like, this had some moments that are funny to talk about, but I just think the whole thing was trying a little too hard. Like I feel like they lost the perspective on this one. They tried a little bit hard to do something silly, and it just didn't come across as fun or funny to me particularly. The boom was good. That was, obviously that gave us a little bit of movement, but the whole premise of the stunt, like giving this one so much attention, felt a little bit off to me. I'm giving this one a 5 out of 10.
See, I like the fact that they gave it a lot of attention because this is something they were working on for, I believe they said 17 years.
Yeah.
This is the guys, maybe Bam writing on a little piece of paper, some stupid idea, and them evolving and taking it to the level where they literally got the Mythbuster himself to make sure that this actually happened. So as much as the payoff wasn't as good as I would have liked, and it seemed a little more serious, I got to give them an A+ for the effort and sticking to their plans and actually getting this to finally fucking work. So it's not a high score, but I'm going to go with 7 out of 10.
Okay, nice. That's pretty good.
I like it.
Jay, what about you?
Carrie Byron. It's Carrie Byron, for fuck's sake.
Carrie Byron. Okay, there you go.
7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. I'm with Chris there. It's just the fact that they had this fucking Mythbuster in there, and the craziness with the podcast just made me go, wow, what the fuck, what kind of world am I living in? This is nuts. But I
felt like it was made for us. Yeah.
I don't think the sketch was the best thing I have seen from these guys, but yeah, that's where I'd sit with it, I think. So yeah, that takes us out of there. We're done lighting farts on fire. And how about something that will do the exact opposite to you? It's going to make you pucker up real hard. It's the hammock spin. They got a guy laid in a hammock and a bunch of dudes around it ready to see how many revolutions they can do. And surprisingly, in this little interstitial, we get 2.5 full revolutions until he flies out in the upside down position. The guy's just launched out straight down into the ground and he hits fucking hard. Everybody rushes to him, just, busting up laughter. And I liked that. It was simple but effective.
Yeah, Jaws Hammocky, we don't see a ton of him in this one, but he's, when he does show up, good. I like that. Not everyone needs to be a superstar. We're going to need our Rab himself of the new Jackass era as well, who just kind of show up for a stunt here and there. But it was good. He was good on this one.
Jaws has to get some big shout out. He's a fucking phenomenal skateboarder. He's notorious for jumping off the biggest stair sets, off roofs, off shit like that. I think pretty sure he injured himself pretty bad because he was like super big in the scene, and I haven't seen him doing anything on his Instagram other than like he plays I think it's like an Australian mouth harp. He's like bam, 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 but he does mouth harp Mondays, and it's like he plays it so hard that it cuts his mouth literally. Like he bleeding after. Yeah, you should check it out. Mouth harp Mondays, Jaws Hammocky on his Instagram.
So I know I don't often use an agenda, but if I did, there would be definitely don't check out Mouth Harp Mondays tomorrow.
It's so incredible.
I have no desire to see that at all.
Oh, yeah.
There's zero part of me that's going to check that out.
Where's the desire when we just basically had the show of the night right there with Chris? I mean, you can do an impression of an Australian Mouth Harp that good. I don't need to see Mouth Harp Mondays. That's all I'm saying. I just saw it a day early. Fuck all y'all. All right, Spider Tag. You guys ready for Spider Tag? That's not what this was called. I don't know why I wrote that in the notes, but that's what
it's
you're getting.
DARKSHARK Tuesdays.
Yeah,
that's what we got.
Listen, this is Jasper, correct? Yes, Jasper and Dad.
Jasper and Dad.
And on the other side, the other team, we have, Aaron by himself, essentially, because who's going to side with Aaron? But listen, the idea here is that neither of these guys really like tarantulas that much, especially Jasper's father. I really don't think he does from the stories I'm hearing. And they're going to sit them across from each other on these chairs, and they bring out the duct tape real quick. So I'm thinking, okay, something's about to happen here. And it's not long after we see this contraption they've created, which is so hard to describe. It's basically like 2 spaceman helmets with a tube connecting them in the middle, and it's all glass. It almost kind of looks like a giant's bong or something. I really don't know how to describe it. But basically their heads are locked in here, and they're going to drop the spider into the glass tube in the center and just try to basically pull it with their might one way or the other and try to get the other guy to eat the tarantula. Not literally. Calm down, Peter.
It's a reverse tug of war to try to get the tarantula into the other side of the person's helmet. Yeah,
exactly. And guys, this thing looks terrifying. Like, even without the spider, there's just something about this that looks like a fucking torture device.
It's straight out of a fucking Saw movie.
I don't like it. Yeah.
Imagine someone had bad breath.
Dude, that was my thing. I'm like, I don't care about the tarantula. DARKSHARK's breath just like breathing straight into your face. Just no, thank you. I don't want to.
It smells like Colt cigarettes and chronic smoke.
The fucking DARKSHARK's had a rough life too, guys. They tell a bit about his story. Like, he's a tough son of a bitch. You got to give him credit, and he's not the kind of guy who shows a lot of emotion. Like, they say that up front, that he's kind of like,
I did some research on him, actually.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Yeah.
Lay it on.
When they said former gang member, and as far as I've heard, you don't really get out of a gang, especially with the history and pedigree that he had. He's actually was a member of the Schoolyard Crips, which are a specific Crip set that beefed a lot with the Rolling 60s and the other neighborhood Crip gangs. There was this big roller skating thing that I think it was near Compton or something like that they would all like go to on like Saturday nights, and there was massive like beat down. So he was a second generation. He was one of the OGs that helped put them on the map, and that's Gang Facts with Suburban Chris.
Hey, new segment. All right.
When you mention gangs and roller skates, I think of the movie The Warriors, and all of a sudden I'm way less intimidated by DARKSHARK than I used to be.
Oh, boy.
Well, the tarantula didn't do it for you?
No,
although his reaction to grabbing you could tell how scared people were to even put him in that situation.
Yeah,
I think the people on set were more afraid of DARKSHARK than they were of any other stunt that they've done in the past.
100%.
They were like legit terrified of this guy.
He was grabbing. Who was he grabbing onto? And he just like he was pulling them, like actually physically pulling them
just
around,
twisting shirts, and like he's got like three people on him. Like, it's fucking crazy.
They were so scared he lost, and they still pushed the punishment on Danger Aaron, which is the best part of the whole thing.
That is the best part. I love that, and of course they would. And you guys are so right. Like, it's fucking terrifying watching him because it seems so primal. It's like he's just so full of adrenaline that he's almost not even aware he's just grabbing people, who are around him, and it's like he's doing anything to just get out of that situation. His brain is on fire, and you can't blame the guy because he doesn't like spiders for one, and he's in this. It's like, it must be claustrophobic as hell to be in that thing. So like, I can't imagine the emotion. But the thing that I like about this is that the whole time it's happening, it's like that tube is fucking like fogging up. It's just like, you almost can't even see the guys in there or what's happening anymore. But it just goes to show like how, like, they're basically hyperventilating in there. And it's just like, there's just this feeling of like, as the viewer, like, you almost are witnessing what they're witnessing secondhand. I felt that way a little bit, It's just like, get me out of this sketch. I don't want to be here anymore.
Well, so much so that DARKSHARK, I forgot about this since the first time I watched it, but he passes out. He passes out in the middle of it. And then he passes out again while he's twisting shirts. He passes out a second time. And they still can't get him to let go. He's passed out.
Yeah, I know.
And their shirts are wrapped so tightly around his hand that they can't get out.
This guy's fucking twisting shirts in sleep.
Is one of the guys that stole the fucking movie on the low. You know
totally
what I mean?
Agree.
Like, there's the other guys that came in and they just like, you expected stuff out of him, but he's just such a fucking character.
Yeah.
Well, actually, before we give the review, sorry, I forgot about the punishment bit on Aaron. Chris, you mentioned that they put the punishment on Aaron, which is that you have to get bit by the spider. And somehow they convince Aaron not just to get bit by the spider, but to get bit on the nipple. And all it takes is like, they ask him once, he's like, not a fucking chance. They ask him again, he's like, all right, fuck it, let's do it. Like, good on him.
That's all I gotta do. Ask twice. It works every time on Aaron. Man, when I saw that, I don't know why, but I wrote in my notes, nipple fuck. If you remember 40-Year-Old Virgin, when they're waxing Steve Carell, he says nipple fuck. And I just thought that was appropriate at this time. I'm going to give this a rating because I don't have much more to say about this. But I just... Obviously, this was like fucking PTSD. I wouldn't want to be in that scenario. And I think this was more successful than the previous stunt, Fart on Fire. So I do got to go higher. I would be wrong not to. Pretty intense. I'm going to go an 8 out of 10 on this one, actually.
Chris, what about you?
Well, I just want to say one thing. When I watched the fangs go into his nipple, like legitimately, I don't know if anybody else has this phenomenon, but if I see someone take a big slam or get really hurt, my asshole literally puckers up. It's really weird. I don't know if that happens to anybody else, but it's like I literally feel it in my asshole. It's really scary. So, because I got such enjoyment out of that.
Yeah.
No, it's there wasn't much to it, but I fucking laughed as hard at this as I laughed on pretty much anything throughout the movie. Every aspect, the passing out part, seeing the pure fear in DARKSHARK. When I think about like if I was, what are you looking at, Mikey? You're looking really weird.
What was that whole thing about your asshole? Why did you tell us about that?
Well, it just happened. I don't know. I'm on it.
I thought that you were making a point, and you just told us that something happens to your asshole sometimes, and then moved on. Like that's a normal thing.
I was
to do.
hoping that someone would be like,
thing
that
to do.
happens to me too. You know, I like when people like reassure you. It's those little things that you assume nothing happens to. Like, it doesn't happen to anybody else, and then people are like, oh no, that happens to me too. And then the fact that it didn't, I panicked. So I started to sidetrack really quick.
Okay,
but thanks for
he was just checking the room,
doing that a little bit longer.
Yeah.
It's
all right.
Yeah, I love DARKSHARK in this. I love the fact that they flipped it on Aaron. I love every aspect of this, but I'm going with 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
All right.
9 out of 10 is pretty good. I agree. I think this one was it was simple, Chris, but there was a complexity to the contraption. Even though the set piece was simple, there was a complexity to the game that they were playing that I really liked. Sometimes I wipe my ass so hard that my asshole bleeds, and that's just in between different things. So I'm probably going to give this one, I would say, honestly, an 8.5 out of 10. Like, I think it's right up there.
Dick, eh? I didn't hear your score because I was just fucking pissed at you. Would you
8.5 out of 10.
Score. You gained some respect back.
I don't know if this happens to you guys, but sometimes when I eat a Reuben, my dick hole just like puckers up real hard, and I can't pee for like at least another 3 hours after that. Does that happen to you guys?
Yeah, no, I know the feeling. Feeling.
Yeah, something with the
thanks for
preservatives in the meat. Listen, this next one, guys, I don't know why I'm naming it this. Well, I do know why. It just reminded me of, like a ladder match in WWE where you got two guys battling it out to take the titles off the little rope that's hanging above the ring. And then the ladder gets knocked over and they're hanging off the rope off the title and they're trying to pull it down. That was Johnny Knoxville in this next one where he's a maintenance man fixing a power pull. And I just thought that Johnny Knoxville is the WWE championship here because he's hanging off. In a moment, he'll be hanging off this pole, but let's get there. So he's dressed up as the maintenance guy. He's in the bucket truck there. He's fixing it. And this lady walks by, says, "Ma'am, give me a hand here. Can you pull those levers for me?" Like, Knoxville needs to go a little higher, a little closer to fix the pole. So first of all, nothing can go wrong with this, of course, right? I would definitely go in and operate heavy machinery that I've never seen in my life. Of course, that seems like a great fucking idea. But I love that Knoxville can play something like this off in a way that makes it seem like it's this lady's fault when he falls out of the bucket. Because
it's amazing.
He's just you forgot to do the turn and slide.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but I love that there's they had the fireworks basically, like a big bang goes off and he's hanging there by his boot strap upside down from this fucking carabiner just yelling at this lady, getting her, okay, now do this, now do that. Fuck. It was actually
she goes, I don't know which button to push anymore. And he's like, well, not the same ones as you pushed last time.
The earnest conversation that they end up having, like in the middle of this, where like he's like, yeah, I think it's after the moment where he's like, well, not the same ones you're pushing, and she turns to him, and she says, I'm doing the best that I can.
Yeah.
These are
Just
like
stop,
this is
lady.
the energy I want to be brought to pranks. This makes a good prank where like the victim isn't getting hurt. They're not getting embarrassed overly. It's not something that they can't recover from. It's just putting them in a situation they don't realize they're a part of, and just playing with them, having fun with it. I don't know that this one warrants a rating necessarily, but I'm very happy it was there. Kind of a quick bite. I thought they were going to do more with it, and the fact that they didn't was actually okay with me. It just kind of came, gone. I like it in there, and it didn't have to be more than it was.
Yep, that's it. That's all you need, something in and out. It kind of reminded me of the aesthetic they have with Eric Andre's sorry, I'm forgetting the name of the movie, the road trip movie that he did recently. Bad Trip.
Oh, yeah. Movie.
So it's kind of that idea of like, let's get people involved, but let's have something grand set up, ready to go ahead of time, like when Andre gets his clothes sucked in the vacuum or something like that,
Yes.
Which is also a great sketch. So this next one, though, is I can't really call it a great sketch because I feel like it was a sketch that they attempted and failed, and we got the outtake in the aftermath. This is Preston going poopy in a spandex suit. Basically, he's like in this, it almost looks like it's like a silvery skin tight suit that almost reminds me of like if he was going to be a human cannibal or something.
Yeah.
And yeah, he's just kind of standing there.
For Dirty Dancing? It was supposed to be a Dirty Dancing theme, and he has like a spacesuit on. I didn't quite understand that.
No, I think they called it Dirty Dancing because he ended up shitting his pants.
No, they're trying to do the Dirty Dancing scene where Wee Man was to pick him up like in Dirty Dancing at the end of the movie where he hoists her on the thing. They were talking about that.
Oh, weird. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what I'm sure we'll see it in Jackass 4.5. I'm sure we'll get there.
Like he's just standing here though, looking a little awkward, guys. And it's funny because you can tell something's off as the viewer, right? You're like, well, what the fuck is this? What am I watching? And then, get the pan around. There's a little brown spot in there. He shit himself. Like he shit himself on set. Don't know why. No explanation as to, the cause of that. But everybody just kind of gives a laugh and he just looks uncomfortable for a while and he takes his suit off and then he's got this huge fucking welt on his lower abdomen. What the fuck
I think
is
that's got to be from the cannonball in the opening scene, when he comes out with the monster thing on.
Good catch.
This is the one, Chris, that you brought up earlier in the episode in our recording, and I'm curious to get your thoughts on it because I think I picked up on the same thing. But what did you notice your second time through?
Well, like I said, the first time I just kind of assumed this was staged, like they just added because nothing seemed to fit, and it was just sitting there. But the second time, because I knew it was coming, he was very embarrassed and very let down by himself. Like it was almost sad to see. He literally says, "I'm a grown man. Why did I do that?"
100%.
So the first time I was thinking he was putting on, but then I realized you could see it in his eyes. Like this was definitely an accident, and this was like a moment of realization for him that like he's older, like he's going to be an old man shitting himself soon, and that freaked him right out.
Yeah,
it really did, and so much so, like that it meant something, and that people started to pick up on it because the shot ends with them walking away and Wee Man like consoling him, like patting his back, like rubbing his back, like, "Hey, it's okay, buddy, you're gonna be okay." Like, not a joke. That was not for the camera. And I get that. They definitely saw it in Preston. They're like, fuck, no, this is embarrassing. And, you forget that these are human beings and they may get embarrassed. Like when you bring up the fact, Chris, that SteveO's embarrassed about his eyebrows. So he wears the thing and he talks about how embarrassed he was. And it's like, fuck, SteveO, you've done so much stuff.
Yeah.
How can you be embarrassed about anything? How? He's a fucking human. He's a human being.
So
of course
true.
He's going to be.
Well, speaking of human beings, I realized that I am the Lance of this podcast. Like my gag reflex, like he the same things that make him start throwing up where they film the cameraman puking all the time throughout all Jackass shows. He's been with them for a long time and he's always that guy that's gagging and puking. And it's always the exact same stuff that would get to me too. So I dub myself the Lance of the podcast.
All right. Your name is Lance and you like to bangs, baby.
Wear it proud, Chris. Man, I can't wait to be an old man, guys? Gonna be looking forward to that. The marching band is up next, and this is a very notable sketch for one reason.
Yes.
One reason in particular, and if you have a keen eye, you probably already know what we're talking about, but let's talk about the sketch quick, set it up for you. They've got a big treadmill, big old conveyor belt at full speed. Can't tell you how fast it's going, but it looks pretty fucking fast. And they got the marching band. Everybody's got their own instrument, from trumpets to drums, like you fucking name it. And they march in a circle. You kind of get a show of everybody in the lineup, and they all step on one by one. And I love the way the shot is set up because it's just a still shot, so you don't cut away. It's basically just one guy jumps on, and he goes from screen right to screen left onto the hard concrete, and rinse and repeat for every guy in the lineup. And here we get to see, as everyone steps on, who's in that lineup. So first, of course, you've got Knoxville there leading the band. And then we see someone we haven't seen in a while, someone that looks a little familiar, and someone that you almost don't recognize at first glance. In fact, when I went to see the movie in the theaters, I didn't even know he was here. This is Bam Margera. he makes his debut in the movie right here, and most of us didn't catch it. And of course, you've also got Pontius, SteveO, Jasper, and who's the last one? Drawing a blank here. Sorry, guys. I didn't write it down.
Pontius is there. I think Dave England's there.
England. That's the other guy. So, yeah, that's the crew. But let's talk for a minute about Bam being there. I'm sure you guys want to touch on that. So what did you think? Were you shocked to see him? He looked a little different. It's been a while since I've seen Bam. What did you guys think?
He looked like what I've seen in the news. Like, obviously leading up to Jackass Forever, he was in the news quite a bit. We've seen what he looks like. He's definitely looks a lot different than he did back when we were, in the Viva La Bam days and even the Jackass 2 days. But he's been in and out of rehab, and he's been trying to get himself back on even footing. I was surprised that he was in this because I know he basically wasn't allowed in the movie. Like, he was taken off set. I mean, we've litigated that 1,000 times over. We don't need to get into that again, but I'm surprised that any stunt made it in that had him in it. Although the reason why you kind of have to include this stunt is how outrageously dangerous it ended up being for something so simple. There were too many injuries to just let this one not go in the movie. Chris, what did you think? Were you happy to find out he made it into a scene, or did it feel weird to you?
You know what? In a weird way, I'd rather have him just not been in it or been fully in it. To throw him in a sketch and not have him on a title card, just kind of slip him in. Like, that seemed like kind of a cheap shot to me. And the fact that they kind of like you said, like this one, I'm pretty sure I heard on the SteveO podcast that they were saying that this caused the most injuries out of anyone that did in the whole thing. So
people
for
get
them just
so
to
fucked up.
have to throw it in because of that, it's like, okay, you're not good enough to be in it, but because you were in such good material, we have to throw it in. Like, I think that's not really cool, personally.
I know. I agree.
Yeah, it did feel a little disingenuous, but you know what? It was good to see him because, like, as much as you wanted him in that movie and he couldn't be there, seeing him kind of felt like for a moment you had the whole crew back together, and that was kind of nice. But yeah, the head injuries here are brutal. People are bleeding coming off that thing. There's clearly concussions going around. Some people, like Jasper, seemed like he landed okay because he's laughing at the end of it, but I think he's the only one in the pile laughing. Everyone else is just dazed.
No, there's one
up.
more. This blows my mind.
Yeah.
Anyone who's out there listening to this, if you have access to watch this movie again, I don't know if you rented it or bought it on YouTube or whatever it is, however you can watch this movie again, watch this again, because this stunt, as we mentioned, absolutely fucks everyone up. They land on their head on concrete. It's disgusting when you watch it. However, one person gets hit just as hard as everyone else and gets up and is immediately fine, not worried at all. And that's Chris Pontius. Pontius lands, he takes the hardest fall of anyone. I swear, go back and watch this. He takes the worst fall and he gets up and he's just like, oh, I guess we fucking got me that time. Like, let me go dress up as Bunny again. So, he's totally okay. It blew my mind. It's a terrible fall that he took.
Yeah, brutal, man. I don't know. This is one of those ones that you wonder, are they going to go that far? Like, are they still able to? Can they show this type of thing? Then they just do it. And it's a little shocking, but in a way you kind of enjoy it because we're all a little messed up and sick on the inside, I guess.
Very true.
There's one last thing I noticed about this that, actually was pointed out. I don't often spend time reading YouTube comments, but I wanted to see what people thought about this because when I went back to watch it the first time, just this clip, when I heard Bam was in it, people were saying things about him, but one person noticed something, and that's if you watch closely, everybody who goes on the treadmill has an ADR grunt. So in post in ADR, they went in front of a microphone and went, ugh, when they landed.
Oh.
Bam Margera is the only one who doesn't get a grunt. So clearly that was...
They couldn't get him in
They
after
couldn't
the
get
fact.
him in. So it's just a little interesting thing that was picked out there that I thought, oh yeah, that makes total sense.
And why don't you explain, Jay, for the less intelligent of our hosts, what ADR means for Chris?
I think
for Chris,
if that weren't clear.
I did, but if you want, I can explain it again.
He's gonna need it a couple times. I think.
If you want, I can
Mikey
after
just
this
needs it for himself, Mr. Pants.
Mr. Pants.
Well, you got pajama pants on.
Mr. Pants. Oh God. Yeah, the insults
Jay,
are getting worse.
why don't you lead us off with a review of this one, of the marching band?
I will do that. I just want to say once before we do that real quick is that I hope this was Bam's idea, and I hope to God he drew it in permanent marker on a napkin, and that exists somewhere.
Yes.
That's
100%.
I fucking hope so. Marching band, yeah, it's too fucking hardcore not to give it a good rating, because like, just respect to them for doing it, as stupid of an idea as it is. And I got to go back and watch it now to see Pontius, because I somehow I didn't quite catch on to that. So I think overall, this is going to be a higher one for me. I can't go quite as high as the cup test, because I just feel like Aaron really did well in that. 9 out of 10 though for this one.
Oh wow, nice. Chris, what about you?
Pain doesn't always translate to a good stunt for me, as much as it seems kind of counterintuitive to the Jackass brand. This just didn't really do it for me, to be completely honest. Like I think maybe if it was filmed differently, I got to see a little bit more of the chaos. It seemed short. It seemed like too much of a pain versus reward threshold. So I can't really give it that high of a score. I'm going with a 6 out of 10.
I agree with what you're saying, Chris. I think that it was almost too. This shouldn't have been the one that fucked people up as much as it did. It feels like it's an irresponsible stunt. Like they blew their load on it, and they shouldn't have. It was fun to see. It was funny to see, but it also felt a little bit gross, not in a good way. I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10.
Fair enough. Yeah, it is a little hard to watch for sure. There's that element of it. But I always try to remind myself in those situations that these guys all signed up for the shit. You know, someone made them do it. If there was like a bullying segment with Aaron beforehand, like, come on, you pussy, do it. And then he did it and got fucked up, I think I'd feel worse. But I think these guys were all in on it. They had to. It's not
that the pain threw me off. It's just more like it just didn't. Like there wasn't as much of a show around it. Like I really don't give a fuck if people get hurt doing this stuff, because this is kind of what they, like you said, what they sign up for. It just, for whatever reason, it didn't translate for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Everybody, is going to feel different about it. And if anything, they got a good visual out of it. So yeah, it's an interesting sketch. Short and sweet, not much else to it. Let's move on though to our next one here, which is a little bit of an interstitial before we're getting close to the end here. But it looks like our good friend Eric Andre is here. And man, we haven't seen him enough. He does make a brief appearance earlier on in the movie, but here he kind of gets, I would almost say it's a sketch of his own, but it's kind of one of these let's prank Eric Andre type of thing. So what happens is he's going to go up and order a coffee from the coffee food truck thing they have here on location, and he's just talking to the girl there, chatting it up, and then she asks him a question. He leans in, and of course, what do you think happens? You got the inflatable fucking punch to the face out of the window, and it's great.
The Dave England Destroyer, we call that.
The Dave England Destroyer, yeah, 100%. And I love it because Eric Andre, like, he should have known better. Like, as soon as it happens, he's like, fuck, I'm on a Jackass set. How stupid of me. I should have known. Like, I should have known. So it was good to see him there, having some fun with the group.
Yeah, love Eric.
But yeah, after this, we're going to go and jump in. And Mikey, you said it earlier in the show, and man, you hit the nail right on the head. There's a lot of nut sacks in this goddamn movie, and we get another one right here. This one is...
But just real quick, I'm not going to lie here. Like, these nut sacks were a lot more appealing to look at than the other ones. Like,
Chris,
the way they came through.
I have the same note.
Right? I was pretty proud of his nuts. Like, the way I kind of look at it is like when he's pulling them out of the thing and kind of fluffing them up, it was like kind of like those skinless Siamese cats. They're kind of gross to look at, but I wouldn't mind petting it for some reason. Like, it looked like it would be very therapeutic just to kind of cradle them.
That's so gross. No.
It's so funny you say that, because my thing is like, the fact that they had trouble keeping his balls dangling in this one was surprising. The older you get, the more your balls dangle.
Right.
And it was crazy when he sat down on it, and they like barely, like after the first time. But Jay, before we go any further into that, why don't you explain the premise of this one?
Yeah, I'm going to say, if you're worried about age as a factor here, Mikey, it may just be the possibility that Preston's asshole is slightly ahead in age to his nutsack, where it's going to catch up in due time. Don't worry. So we've got Preston sitting up on a big box here with a hole cut in the roof. And what's that hole for? Well, man, that hole looks like the perfect size hole for a nutsack. Let's try that out. And hey, it's a nice fit. Almost a nice fit. So The thing I love about this is I've talked about this many times on Jackass is when they pull the old 1-2 punch on you here and they kind of fuck with your eyes out of the gate. It's another one of these model shots of like you're in a gym, right? And there's a tiny little, tiny everything. It's like, it looks like a gym, but you can tell something's off and you're like, what is that? And then you get a little boxing glove and a nutsack popping out of the hole. And immediately you put 2 and 2 together. What's about to happen here? Preston's nuts are the speed bag in the gym, and we're just going to go to town. That's pretty much it. And you guys are right. There's a lot of theatrics to get this thing through the hole, and they're trying to tug on it. And like, I just found that more fascinating, the actual punch, in a way. But when the punch happens, I do want to note that Preston, obviously he's hurt. So he climbs out of the hole and he's laying down on the box. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but the first thing I noticed is like, where is his dick? I
have the same note.
Yeah.
Why?
It's just balls.
It's just tummy and then balls. It's just tummy and balls.
Where did it go? Like, I was just flabbergasted by that.
Good thing it wasn't a heavy bag, because it wouldn't have been a big heavy bag. Because
so what do you guys think of this?
Like the heavy bag's a cylinder, right? So if it's wiener instead of the nuts, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good. I like that one.
Like, what did you guys think of
the
this?
Heavy bag stunt.
As a sketch, what did you guys think of this? Like, I feels like it was almost too easy in a way, didn't it?
Nope.
No?
I fucking loved it. I loved it. It's an idea that I'm surprised we haven't seen before, and it's crazy that they're still coming up with ideas that just feel like what's that saying? It's like a great song. The first time you hear it, you feel like you've known it your whole life. The first time I saw tiny little punching bags punching a scrotum, I feel like I've been watching that my whole life. And like, it just felt like I was returning home to a home that I never knew existed.
Yeah.
And the fact that they kind of double up on it, it's like, yes, the stunt itself is funny, but then they tell Preston that he needs to get a second take. That Johnny finds that hilarious. He knows that Jeff is always going to do that, like push for as much as he can get. Then it cuts to the behind the scenes things, and everyone's having a great time. Aaron's fluffing up Preston and then wiping the ball sweat onto Poopies, who's punching him back. And then Preston's there, who just wants to get it over with. He's like, quiet on the set, guys. I got to go get my nuts punched a little bit. Like, it's so chaotic, and it's almost like when Jackass lets you feel like you're on set with them. Like, keep in mind, they could have filmed this where it was just like the small model of a bathroom. Yeah, the toilet one where Dave England shit on it.
Yeah.
And that was it. But instead, the sketch was a sketch about filming a sketch about getting your nutsacks punched. And because of that, it worked on multiple levels. And it took what could have been, as you said, Jay, just kind of easy and straightforward and really made it something special.
The slow motion absolutely murdered me. Like,
oh my God.
It is good.
You see, like, at first it would look like slobber or almost, but it would end up being just like a hair. Like, that's the details that you were getting in that. I was like, what the fuck is going on? I love this. Everything about it. The fact, just the pure concept of how his nuts knew not to droop down again. They're just like, no, fuck that, man. We know better than this. And they had to get them fluffed again. Like, this is just worked on so many levels for me.
It's very psychological. Yeah. I guess we didn't talk about the actual contraption that does the punching. Should we talk about that? Because it's pretty clever.
Yeah, it's almost like
it's like a rock'em sock'em robot.
Yeah.
A rock'em sock'em robot, but it's like run by an egg beater. You know how the egg beater has those two things that kind of push out, but the points have been extended, and then they've got the two little miniature boxing gloves.
Yeah, it's like
they move really fast.
Massager or something. You'd find it at Costco or some shit like that. They're always trying to get you to sample out. They got it all set up. Oh, I'll do your inner thigh if you want. Come on, sit down. You can pull your pant leg up a little bit. We'll do your inner thigh. Yeah, I think we should probably rate this one. Because, man, I think, you know what, guys, when I said it was too easy, I guess, Mikey, I didn't think that you're right. There are those layers there. Those layers do make up a lot of it. And I guess I didn't even mean easy in the sense that it was bad either. I kind of just meant like, wow.
You just meant it was easy to jack off to.
Yes. Thank you. Okay. Took the words right out of my mouth. It's simple, but it's effective. And like when I saw it happening, I was like, oh, of course. Yes. But it's one of those things you didn't know you needed until you saw it, I think. And that makes it beautiful. It's not my favorite thing from the movie, but it got me laughing. And Chris, you're right. The slow motion is a great touch. So overall on this one, 7.5 out of 10 for me.
I'm actually going to go higher on this one. I think it warrants, because of the simplicity and the way that they very tactfully add layers to it. Everyone's involved, even though it's a stunt about Preston. I loved it. I'm giving this one a 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm going 9.5 out of 10. Everything
Nice.
about it
I
is
love
great
that.
for me. Yeah.
Right on. Well, this next one, guys, I don't know if they maybe could have. I would have. Let's put it this way: the special guest in this one. I don't know how you feel about him. You could feel however you want to feel about him, but I kind of wish he would have been in the last segment and they would have turned the egg beater thing up to like 11 on this guy, because I'm not a fan of Machine Gun Kelly in
I feel about him the same
bicycle
way
backhand.
Eminem feels about him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's talk about it.
Well, there's just something to the guy. It's his mannerisms. It's the way he complains about the pool water being too cold, because clearly he's been spoiled by his heated pool that he has in the back of his house. Even though this is the type of man who complains about how hard life is, because he's such an emo boy with
emo boy.
all the problems that the world
he
can
was
handle.
an emo. He is an emo boy now, but he tried to be a gangster rapper just before that. When he came in the first time, when we saw this in theaters, the whole theater booed. Like, what are you doing here? Why is Machine Gun Kelly here? And when we, like, way back when we watched the trailer and we did the trailer reaction with our first YouTube video ever, we were all just like, is that Machine Gun Kelly? Like, there's no way he's allowed in this movie. But apparently he is. It was fucking crazy. In the intro, by the way, SteveO says, like, he's talking about who Machine Gun Kelly is, and he says that Machine Gun Kelly is richer than SteveO is. That can't be true, right? Is it?
I think it might be true, man. Yeah, that guy's probably pretty fucking loaded. Listen, like, if you like Machine Gun Kelly, I want to say this. It's fine. Like, I'm not going to shit on you in the music you like. It's totally fine. Like, the thing is, I just get this vibe from the guy that he's not authentic at all. And
No, he switched genres. Like, literally, he went from trying to be a gangster rapper to trying to be an emo rock star. Does he even play a fucking guitar? Or is he just doing videos? Like, I fucking twat that guy.
Yeah, I don't love him.
Like, I saw
and I
him
think
playing...
if anything, we've
go ahead,
learned that we were right. We've learned that we were right about this one, because the whole premise of this one is you got SteveO next to Machine Gun Kelly, and they're working these little, like, contraptions where they got to pedal their wheels as much as they can. The more they pedal, the farther back these giant hands go. And then once they reach the end, they slap you back into the water. Machine Gun Kelly goes into the water. It's very clear the whole time he's more concerned with how he looks than what he's actually doing. And he's immediately complaining and won't stop complaining. Like, you're on Jackass. We just watched a stunt where everyone went head over heels, literally onto concrete, and barely complained about it. In fact, they were laughing about it. You went into a cold pool and you won't shut up about it. Like, it really took, like, it kind of put me in a bad mood, this stunt. I'm like, why do we have this?
Yeah, I thought I'd get gratification for seeing getting smacked, but it wasn't even a hard smack. He fell into a pool. Ooh, that's gonna fucking hurt. Like,
how cold is the pool? There were people swimming in it behind you for the whole stunt.
Yeah.
You fucking idiot.
This is what I mean. The guy doesn't know what the common people have to put up with. He doesn't know what a normal temperature pool is like. For the love of God, I think we could bitch and moan all day about him just as much as he bitch and moaned about the pool water. But listen, love him or hate him, he's here. And I think as a sketch, this would have worked better with just the Jackass guys, and maybe throw in something a little extra. I don't know. Cover the fucking hand in hot sauce or something. Do anything. I was just
going to say hot sauce. That's so weird. I was literally just going to say that.
Yeah. Or SteveO, rubs one out. I don't know. It's just like... do something more with it. Like, I'm with you, Mikey, where it's like he gets the slap. It's not even a hard slap. It's, it kind of fell flat. So does it need to be in the movie? I almost wish they would have saved this for the 0.5 and substituted, literally like anything else. Personally.
Yeah. What do you want to rate that one, Jay?
For a rating on this one, I can't go high at all. I just did not enjoy it. And having Machine Gun Kelly there really, really shriveled my sack right up. So 2 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm
2
going
out of
to
10
2 too, because it's absolute shit.
I'm actually going lower than that, and I would have gone lower than this score except for the fact that as Machine Gun Kelly's complaining, he's like, I don't know, it's so cold, like, I don't know how you won, like, what was going on? And SteveO's like, I don't know, I was having an off day, I got off to a slow start, you just suck, dude. And he says it kind of earnestly, and because of that, I'm giving it a 1 out of 10.
Sounds good.
All right, and that takes us to, well, for this episode at least, the grand finale. We're going to put a pin in it after this one, but man, is it ever a fucking good sketch. This is the Triple Wedgie. You've got Wee Man in the center, and up on two pedestals behind Wee Man, Preston Lacey on one side and Jackass on the other. Now, everybody is appropriately clothed, just wearing only the undies, and everybody's harnessed in as well. And this is very important, because if you're going to do a triple wedgie, you got to go as hard on it as you fucking can. This is not a man-made wedgie. This is some fucking technological nightmare of a wedgie, and I just couldn't wait when I saw the setup in the theater to see what was going to happen next, because like anything could go wrong with this. The types of injuries you could get from this could be varied. Were we going to see blood? I don't know. But man, this one got me excited.
We did when Rob himself did it in Jackass 1.
Yeah. So on this one, guys, the idea is the two big boys in the back are going to jump off the platforms. And that in turn will lift Wee Man off the ground, and everybody will then be suspended in air, enjoying their wedgies. And that's pretty much it. It's not super complicated, but what did you think when you stepped up to the plate for this one? What were you feeling?
I think we should play a little quick game here.
Yeah.
How much of a pound wedgie do you think that was with the two guys combined that were ultimately wedging Wee Man? I'm going to say 712 pounds.
Huh. Yeah, you know what? I'll probably say... I'm gonna say 735.
735?
Yeah.
How about you, Jay?
735. Hey, we're going pounds here or what?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, do you actually, I gotta ask you, do you even have a figure? Like, are we just...
No, I just figured we could Google their weights and then add it up.
Okay. 735, Mike saying 735. I'm gonna go a little higher. I'm gonna give it the Tony Hawk treatment. We're going the 900 here. It's probably way off, but I just want to do the 900. So
we're gonna have to look that one up, because I'm just kind of doing some Googling, and I can't really seem to find a weight for him. Yeah, I'd be curious to see that. It's tough. But you know what I was distracted by in this one? Because when Jackass and Preston Lacey jump, when they're ready to jump, they're like 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's time to go. Let's get the contraption started. Yeah. A pigeon photo bombs the background. I don't know if like it's a fucking John Woo movie. There's just like a pigeon flying through the background. God, yeah, and I swear I'm like so ADD, I guess, that I like as two giant guys in underwear are about to jump off of a pedestal and raise a very tiny guy in underwear via wedgie. My mind is thinking, look at that little bird go by. Where's that bird going right now? I wonder where to see that little bird go. Like, what am I doing? I have so many better things to watch.
It was probably trying to get as far away as possible from Machine Gun Kelly.
There you go. That's probably true. I loved this one though. You know what? This stunt has Bam Margera written all over it. I bet you he drew this one up. Kind of like the bungee jump. Yeah. I think it was from Jackass 2, the movie, where Wee Man does a bungee off of Preston Lacey, and they both end up falling into the water. And in this stunt, you'll notice Johnny still has his black hair. So it may have been early enough in filming that Bam would have been on set. I bet That's you he was involved in this one.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Yeah, it's a great concept. The wedgies happen, and basically, I think, like I had said earlier, the intention was to have everybody kind of suspended, but what pretty much ends up happening here is that Wee Man goes up, and he's kind of like just free hanging there, and just the look on his face is the best, by the way. But the other two guys are kind of just like face up at a bit of an angle, like face in the ground and just hanging from the undies, like feet in the air kind of thing. The thing I love about the guys in the back is like the way they land and the way they're just kind of motionless there. It almost looks like it's kind of enjoyable. Like they're almost kind of like, this wasn't that bad actually. And then you got Wee Man in the air just screaming bloody murder. And it's just a good picture.
Wee Man just like a Christmas ornament, just hanging there, slowly turning towards the camera. And he's like, Jeff, get me down, Jeff. Like he's panicking so hard. Yeah. It was adorable. It was so funny. And Preston, like you mentioned, Jay, almost looks comfortable. He's just face down resigned. Like I picture he's thinking like, how did my life get me here. I just shit myself the other day. Now I'm face down, ass up in a room full of guys with a little person dangling over to my left, and he doesn't even move. He's just like sitting there, like giving up on life. It was amazing. I really enjoyed all the reactions in this one.
I kind of hope, the more we talk about it, I'm getting the hunch, just a feeling that maybe we're not going to see any more of Preston Lacey. And I don't mean that in a sense of like, something terrible is going to happen to him. I mean in the sense that I have a feeling he's going to maybe want to hang it up pretty soon. I don't know. I just get that impression. He doesn't look like he's enjoying himself a lot in this movie, Honestly, and I'll get more into this in the next episode, but same with Wee Man to me. Wee Man seems over it. And I have some specific examples that I'll give in a future episode when we finish off Jackass Forever. But yeah, I think there are a couple people who will only come on to be like dressing in the stunt as opposed to the main part of it. Yeah, it could be interesting to see what the future holds. And it's funny you mentioned Wee Man there because I didn't really think of that. But I mean, at some point, you get kind of tired of doing something. And I mean, the money's probably nice to have, but I don't know. Maybe you just kind of want to be left alone after a while. Like I'm good. Hockey players retire. You get too old. You got to move on. So who knows? But speaking of moving on, so do we. So let's give this a rating, and we'll call her a night. Mikey, what did you think of this?
You know what? I really enjoyed the minute to minute in this one. There wasn't a ton of build up, and I don't know if it would have been better or worse without that. I do think that it had that vibe of the bungee jump one, which I know we all really loved. I think it had some really good reactions. I think it was the perfect amount of time as well. And as much as I kind of feel like it was almost too short, like condensed, I don't think that was the end of the world. I don't really shave my full ass crack because I find that if I do, there's little pricklies, so that doesn't really help me too much. I'm going to give this one a 7.5 out of 10.
You're such a dick, Mikey.
I mean, as long as we're just inserting random news about our assholes into our reviews, I figured I'd keep it going.
If anything, if you got a wedgie and you had the... If anything, if you got a wedgie and you had the pricklies, though, it's kind of like having grip tape down there. So it might actually work in your favor. I don't know. Maybe.
All right, I'm gonna go with actually a 7.5 as well. It had some good stuff. I laughed, but it definitely wasn't my favorite thing. But it definitely wasn't bad by any stretch.
Mm-hmm. Did your asshole pucker when the two guys jumped off the ledge?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Jay, what about you? Did your asshole pucker?
Well, I was going to ask you guys, do you ever get that thing when your asshole puckers and then your balls and scrotum shoot up into your abdomen at the same time? It's nuts. Yeah. It's wild.
It's like they were just taken to by a speedbag gun.
It's like Chris tried to tell me a joke. This one is pretty good, I guess. And the fact that that's my reaction to it is probably telling. I detailed how excited I was when I saw the setup, and then other than Wee Man hanging there like the Christmas ornament,
that was
it for me. Like I feel like it was good, but I don't know. It didn't land with me as my favorite thing in the movie, and I'm probably going to go lower actually than you guys went on it. I don't like it more than say The Fart on Fire. I'm going to give it just a 6 out of 10.
I can see that.
Kind of feel like it was let down a little bit for me.
That's fair.
Yeah. And I mean, like, the thing is, I said coming into it too, this is a good one. And it is, but like, when it gets to the end, I just was left feel like, I've talked about this before, where it's like, I wish there was something more there, like.
Yeah, it did feel like there was something slightly lacking.
MVPs, LVPs.
Yeah, let's
do some MVPs and LVPs. Chris, you seem pretty eager. Do you have an MVP for this episode?
Yeah, you know what? As much as I want to give it to Aaron for the cup test too, DARKSHARK stole this little segment from me,
nice.
For sure.
DARKSHARK, nice.
That's fair. You know what? You do DARKSHARK, then I'm doing Aaron. I mean, the way he steps up in this one, including being in DARKSHARKs and taking the spider bite as well. He's a fucking maniac in this episode. Good on him. Danger Aaron is my MVP.
I think for MVP, I gotta go just because it's still fucking wild to me and feels like some sort of lucid dream that Tori Belleci is here, and he's not even like a Jackass member. He doesn't do anything, but just the fact that he's in it, he gets my MVP because It's just too weird, man. It's too fucking weird, the timing of it all. We started this goddamn podcast for this movie.
That's true.
It's weird. That's all I'm saying. So he's my MVP this time.
I like that. That's a good pick. Someone's got to show some love to old Bellacci over there. Chris, what about your LVP?
I think we might all probably have the same
Should
one.
we say it at the
NGK.
same time? Should we say it at the same time?
Well, I kind of spoiled mine, but yes.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Machine Gun Kelly.
Chris's
Kelly.
butthole. Oh, shit. Yeah, of course it's Machine Gun Kelly. Of course it is.
Yeah, I can see that for sure. He's get him out of our Jackass. We don't need another Jackass in Jackass. We like that word to be ironic.
Can we fucking get George Lucas to come in and do a special edition where they like turn him into Jar Jar Binks or something like that, or do some other crazy shit.
I could take that. I could see it. I could see it happening.
Or we turn the hand into like an Eminem hand, just smacking him in the face right into the pool. That would be sweet.
That would be great, actually, if when he was in the pool, Eminem got to come and like shoot him with paintballs or something.
Or just piss in the pool.
All right, guys, but that takes us to the end of this segment, this part of Jackass Forever. We're not quite at the end yet. In fact, there's quite a few stunts left on the board, so don't, dry those fucking tears, because we're coming back next week. You better believe it. As for now, remember, you can find us at JackastPod on Instagram and Twitter if you want to interact and let us know what happens to your butthole when, I don't know, just insert whatever you want here.
That's what it says on Chris's butthole, actually.
A tattoo and an arrow. Chris, can you confirm, please, for the ladies and gentlemen
I will
watching
neither
at home?
confirm nor deny. I plead the fifth.
All right, that's fine. I'll give it to you this time. But yeah, guys, having a great time doing this with you, and can't wait for next week to do it once again. And I think that's it. I got nothing else to say. So until next time, bye. I'm Jason Wellwood.
Bye, I'm Chris Aaronworth.
Bye, I'm Mikey Aaronworth, and this has been Jackass.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it.